ILok was a shitty software a decade ago, and it's still shitty. What's going on YouTube? Josh here from The Creative Wade, and today I wanted to do a really quick kind of controversial podcast about Avid Pro Tools, and I promise you this is not going to be just a bash fest on them. I did try them over the past week and a half or so. I have been in the house with a cold along with the rest of the family, so I've had time to try another DAW. For those of you who might have seen my other videos, you know that I am a Studio One guy primarily. I do like to dabble with other DAWs to kind of stay relevant with the new trends and what's happening now, new softwares and whatnot. So this isn't, I promise you, this isn't just going to be a bash fest. I'm going to bash them a little bit because it is called Slightly Controversial Podcast. It will end on a good note, I promise you that. And I am here with Mrs. Joshua Wade.
Hello, everybody.
She has no idea what I'm talking about because she's not a gear nerd like I am. But I still love you, baby. So anyway, I've got my notes here because I don't want to veer too far off a topic. I did make some notes, and again, I'm going to try to not make this just a bash fest on Avid. So they were purchased recently. They were acquired for $1.4 billion by an acquisition company, specifically a software acquisition company. And at first I thought it was going to be great. This is the end of Pro Tools. If they ever had a chance, they don't now because this is just going to be some pump and dump scheme. Researching the company for what little I could find on it, they're not that type of company. They actually purchase softwares, they put more innovation into them, and they try to make them better. They bought out all the stock, all the shareholders, so it's private now. That's a good sign for people who love Pro Tools. Now, to kind of clear the air, Pro Tools was my first DAW in a real studio environment. I used Pro Tools only for probably 10 years. This was back in the LE days. I had an Inbox 2 and a Digi 002 control surface, not the rack. And I switched to Studio One at about version 3, Studio One version 3, 3.5, if they had a 3.5. I know this by Studio One version 4, I was 100% on the Presonus bandwagon. They were purchased and they actually brought back perpetual licensing, which put Pro Tools on my radar again. Not gonna lie, that was one of the main reasons I didn't go back. I don't want to go to a program that I'm going to have to rely on and I'm going to have to pay a monthly subscription for. So I apologize if I keep looking up. My computer screen's over here. I'm screen capping it as I'm talking to you guys. So they were purchased by that company, which I actually have I have high hopes for it. I think they're going to do really well. I hope they do really well with it. And their pricing structure is on par. The first thing they did when they brought back Perpetual, I'll switch over to my screen cap. This is Studio One for comparison. Because again, I'm a Studio One user. Here is the Presonus Studio One Professional Music $399. And shout out to Zounds, by the way. They are not sponsoring this video, but they do sponsor a lot of my videos. Shameless plug for my affiliate links in the description. You can get Studio One for 6 payments of $66.66. No credit, no background check. And I buy a lot of my studio gear. I just did a studio tour of what I currently have. I'll leave that in the description also if you guys want to check that out. So shameless plug over. But Studio One, if the buy it outright price is $399, right? $400. And their subscription is right around $19, which is pretty good. I think that's fair. And what I like about Studio One, I've said this before, you can cancel at any time. They're not like Adobe. You don't get a discount if you sign up for 1 year and then get penalized if you try to cancel that from month to month. They don't do that. They'll just let you have it for 1 month or 2 months. You can cancel it and you're good to go, and then you can resubscribe if you want to. I own a perpetual license of Studio One Professional 6.5. So I don't subscribe to the Presonus Plus. It used to be called Sphere, now it's called Plus. I always recommend it though. If people aren't too sure, they can kind of dip their toes in a little bit, check it out. Now, having said that, let's switch over to Avid's pricing, and they are on par. They did a really good job with their perpetual pricing. I think it's very comparative. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more money, but excuse me again, dealing with a cold. It's $599, it's $600, but it is a perpetual license. And again, you can get it on Zounds for $99.83. Okay, last plug, I promise. They give you, here's the one that I'm interested in the most. This one is, I think, going to be really appealing because Studio One has the $100 entry, right? I think it's called Studio One Artist Edition. It's $100. It does come free with certain audio interfaces from Presonus, and I have a video planned on that a little bit later. For $200, you can get a perpetual license. The only thing this doesn't come with, you're limited not really a limitation for most people. You're limited to 32 tracks. It doesn't come with some of their higher end plugins, and it doesn't come with Dolby Atmos availability. So you have to upgrade to the Pro Tools Studio Edition to get Dolby Atmos. Now, if you don't care about Dolby Atmos, then that's not an issue. And if you think 32 tracks are plenty, then this one's probably good for you. This is $10 a month on Avid's website. If you want to not buy the perpetual and you just want to pay monthly, it's $10 a month. It's always been $10 a month, and I always thought that was a good deal, but especially now that you have the option, you can test it out. You can try it for a few months. If you like it, after 3 or 4 months, you're like, well, this is all I need, and you'll know more so what you're going to need. You might never need Atmos. You might never need more than 32 tracks. $200, you cannot beat that, and then it's up to you to upgrade later. If you decide to upgrade, if your needs want to upgrade, you can upgrade. Now, here is what I had the problems with. I tried downloading it. I installed the Avid link or whatever it's called, signed up with ILok. I did everything I was supposed to do, and I had nothing but problems with ILok. So this is what I'm talking about. I tried to authorize the plugins that I just installed that come with Pro Tools, and ILok just froze up on me, and it just keeps popping little errors up at the bottom. Oh, hey, look at that. That was cool. And again, this isn't my first rodeo, right? I've dealt with ILok before. I've been in a recording studio environment for almost 2 decades now. This isn't my first time. I'm not new to computers. I had ILok issues like crazy. Pro Tools kept crashing on me. I had to go through a lot of different workarounds to get my ILok to work right, and then it didn't work right for the first day. I happened to restart my computer, I turned it back on, and all of a sudden, everything was registered and it worked just fine. ILok was a shitty software a decade ago. When I used Pro Tools over a decade ago, it was shitty then, and it's still shitty. And I actually have a screen recording, or just me holding my phone up, and I'll put that up if I still have it on my phone. Let me check my phone. I think I still have it. I'll make sure I put it on here. No, you did not hit a time warp. This is 2023, December 30th, 2023. This is ILok's install. Straight up out of Windows XP. Look at this. Oh my God, ILok. Come on, guys. It's so antiquated. Avid, please watch this video. By the way, I know we're 10 minutes in. Please watch this video. ILok is terrible. It has been terrible forever. It was never good. It was just something that we had to deal with at the time when not everybody had a fast internet connection. Okay? Do something like everyone else does. Steinberg does it with Cubase and Nuendo. They have their secondary installer that registers their software. Studio One does it. They have a little built-in thing with Presonus has it with Studio One. I'm okay with downloading another software as long as it's not running in the background and chewing up a lot of resources on my computer. I'm not okay with having to install ILok, which looks like it was designed on Windows XP and then just never updated, and to still have problems with it after it was a problem for me to get the ILok information on my computer in the first place. If I'm coming at this as a consumer who doesn't know about this stuff, right? Like, I'm a computer nerd, I'm a gear nerd. I minded troubleshooting, but it was kind of my pride also. I'm like, I'm going to make this thing work. If I was an average consumer, I would have given up a long time ago. I would not have tried as hard as I did to get it to work. So basically, this is an ILok bashing thing. I will not switch to Pro Tools, and as long as they have ILok, I will not do it. I will say this, I will end on a good note on this one. I like the direction that Avid is going. I like the fact that they give us back perpetual licensing, so now we have the choice to choose. I think the sketch, I think that's a really cool direction you guys are heading in, and I have high hopes for you guys. I'm not done with Pro Tools yet. I could maybe see myself using it in the future if you got rid of ILok. That's my hang up. I am not going to use a program. I literally have plugins I will not install on my computer because they require an ILok to run. I will not do it. But that's going to do it for this rant, this slightly controversial podcast. I've had worse than this. I've really bashed on some brands before, way harder than this, but I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to be, constructive, right? Constructive criticism instead of just saying something sucks. Except ILok. It sucks. It's never going to be good. Get rid of it. But if you guys... What are your thoughts and your opinions? Leave them in the comments down below. Let's start a conversation about this. What has been your experience with the new acquisition of Avid, if you have an experience with it, or maybe a past experience? and you want to see things change a little bit, leave them in the comments down below. Let's start a conversation. I love these conversations from the Slightly Controversial podcast series. I always get the most interesting characters. But that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully you have a good rest of the week. This is going to be posted on a Monday, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.